What's up, guys? Welcome back. It's Jesse. Hi, guys. Today we're gonna be reacting to a true crime documentary. It's by Unforgiven. Unforgiven. It's a crimes. His link will be down. His link will be down in the description. Hi, guys. One thing about me that I love watching documentaries. I don't know. It's very good to watch. So that I might not be talking as much in this video. Alright, guys. It's basically the ones you know, on Netflix. Those are really good ones. Comment down which one should I watch, or which one you guys recommend me to watch, because I'm a big true crime fan. Alright, guys, sit back and relax. Let's get to it.
15 neighbors stood outside an iron door and listened to a young woman's frantic, heart-pounding screams for 6 hours. 7 times they called the cops and begged for someone to come. It was happening on the other side of that door. Vera Pektaleva, 22, was being killed by her sick ex-boyfriend. But there was silence and a lack of interest inside the police office. Video showed police officers going about their business as usual, not at all affected by the terrible events happening on the other side of the line. There is no hurry or fear. In fact, the frantic callers' voices worried them more than the fact that a woman was dying right in front of them. People who lived next to Vera used a crowbar to force the door open out of panic. It was too late by that time. Vera was gone. She had been brutally killed, while the people who were supposed to guard her did nothing. It's too bad that this is just one of many mistakes in a case that would really shake Russia to its core. But we need to go back to the start to really understand what happened. Vera Pektaleva was 22 years old and from Kemerovo, Russia. She was young, beautiful, and full of life. The girl was smart, artistic, and had a beautiful singing voice that helped her win lots of school contests. Everyone thought she would go into the arts, but she surprised everyone by studying economic security with plans to fight corruption. When she was very young, her parents got a divorce. However, she stayed close to both of them and even got along with their new partners. But she had a special bond with her mum, Oksana. Their hopes, fears, and secrets were all shared. This meant that Vera's mom knew about her relationship with Vladislav Kanyus, a boy she used to go to school with. In 2016, Vera and Vlad met again at a party and hit it off right away. One thing was wrong, though. Vlad was bad news. His life wasn't easy at all. When he was very young, his mom left, leaving him with his dad, who was always getting into trouble with the law. It got really bad after that. Vlad saw his father kill himself with a hunting gun. Everything just fell apart after that terrible event. He quit school in the 9th grade, never really found his way, and drank way too much. He was shy, angry, and violent, according to people who knew him. He was also known for being mean and had a criminal record for stealing. It was clear that he wasn't the right kind of person to date someone important to you, and Vera's parents were quick to let her know this. Her dad begged her to leave him, and her mum thought Vlad was only interested in her. Vera was in love, though, so she couldn't see the big red flags. She was sure that her love would fix him and help her change him. She shared cute pictures of them together on social media, making them look like any other happy couple. But that wasn't at all what it was. Vera moved into an apartment in Kemerovo, near her college, in 2019. Her parents helped pay the rent. Soon after, Vlad moved in with her, and things began to go badly. Vlad wouldn't do anything to help. There was nothing he would do but drink. He also wouldn't look for work. Oksana saw that something was wrong and told Vera that he was using her. Her friends also saw it and told Vera that he was only using her to get money. She didn't want to hear it though. She didn't leave him. Instead, she began hiding the fact that they were dating. Vera stopped sharing pictures of Vlad and his family online, and Vlad stopped going to family events. He seemed to tuck away a part of her life that she was having a hard time with on her own. Her folks thought the worst. Vlad was taking advantage of her. Vera had had enough by November 2019. Vlad hurt her physically, and they fought a lot before she understood he would never change, so she left him. Her folks were happy about it. Vlad was meant to leave the apartment, but he wouldn't. His easy life with Vera was something he had no plans to give up. He even threatened to kill Vera if she didn't stay with him. He didn't think it was serious, because his brother Stanislav thought it was just a threat made in a hurry. He was wrong though. Vera chose to leave because she didn't want to start a fight. She moved into her college dorm with just a few basics, leaving most of her things behind. At the same time, Vlad stayed put and lived in Vera's apartment. She even let her parents pay another month's rent without knowing it, while Vera wasn't there. Over the next few weeks, Vera tried to set up a time to get the rest of her things. She called Vlad several times, but he either didn't answer or made excuses. Then, on January 12th, 2020, he called her out of the blue and told her to come get her stuff. Vera had a test the next day, so she got to the flat around 5 p.m. with the goal of leaving as quickly as possible. A friend was supposed to meet her at the dorm at 6 p.m. to help her move. She never got out of that room alive though. The sounds from that night are very scary. At 5:08 p.m., Vera told her friend by text message that she would be done packing in 30 minutes. She was going to take a taxi and get back to the room by 6 p.m. so they could meet there to carry the rest of her stuff. After that, things changed. In the next message, you could hear Vera and Vlad arguing. Vlad was very adamant that no one, especially her friend, could enter the room. Not long after, Vera sent another message, but this time she whispered it, so it was clear she was scared. A fourth message came through before her friends could do anything. Last time, it was Vera. This time, it was Vlad. He took her phone. That's when things went badly. People think that the fighting began soon after. Her friend must have...
Pause it right here, guys. It's crazy so far. Yeah. So basically, was dating this guy, and it was bad news from the start. And she moved to her own apartment. He moved in with her, and her parents paid her rent. And the months that she moved out, she let her parents pay another month's rent. I wonder if the parents knew, like, oh, okay, well, I got it. Man, it's whack that no one's there to help you, like the cops or anything. We still have a long way to go, guys, so let's get back.
Something was wrong, because she kept calling and calling to no avail. But at 7:19 p.m., Vlad sent her a voice message to calm her down. During their meeting, he said that everything was okay and that he would help Vera with her things when they were done. Vera's friend reluctantly stepped back because she didn't want to get in the way. She had no idea that those hours would be Vera's last. Then, very early on January 14th, 2020, someone broke the silence in the apartment building. At 3 a.m., Vera's screams of pain could be heard throughout the halls as Vlad beat her badly. At first, only the next-door neighbors came out, but soon, scared people from all over the building gathered outside the door. Her cries of pain could be heard through the walls as she begged for help. They called the cops out of fear. At one point, Vera was able to get away. She ran to the iron door and screamed for help, pounding on it desperately. The door was too strong, though. The people next door tried to get through, but they failed. They called the cops again because they could hear Vlad pulling her back inside. The horror kept going. Someone else's screams could be heard in the next call. She was still at the door, pleading for help, while Vlad kept beating her badly. The cops never showed up, though. Still, Vlad didn't think that one jab was enough. He meant for her to be hurt. He then got a sharper knife and slowly and deliberately cut her 5 more times. The neighbors were crazy outside. As they scampered around, they looked for anything that could break the iron door. It seemed like every second went by so slowly. Every scream coming from inside the flat made them want to kill someone more. As they listened to Vera being beaten, they kept calling the cops and pleading for help. One of the people outside that door who could hear everything was Stanislav, Vlad's brother. He had talked to Vlad earlier that day, and something about it made him feel bad. He ran to the flat, but got stuck on the other side of the door. He knew that getting inside was important for Vera's life. They called the cops 7 times in 3.5 hours out of desperation. Vera's screams and the sickening sound of her being struck could be heard all the way down the hallway. But no one came to help because domestic abuse isn't taken seriously in Russia. People don't see it as a crime. They see it as a family problem.
ASAP.
If he hits you, he loves you is still a deeply held idea in the culture. In 2017,
That's what?
Russia made first-time home battery not a crime. If it doesn't send a woman to the hospital, it's just a violation of the rules that leads to fines or warnings and nothing more. Democrats have blocked efforts to protect women because they think they go against traditional family ideals. Vera was left to die, and the cops didn't answer any of their calls. There was one last scary argument just before dawn, around 6:30 a.m., and then the nightmare was over. Vera had been pleading for her life near the door, and then all of a sudden stopped talking. Vlad then spoke in a soft, almost gentle voice. "Vera, please forgive me. I love you a lot." Then there was a dull thud. Vlad had given her the last, fatal blow to the back of the head, which had caused terrible brain damage. That wasn't enough for him, though. Then he wrapped the iron's cord around her already dead body and pulled, just to be sure she was dead. One of the neighbors found a metal crowbar in a nearby parking lot soon after her last cries stopped. They were desperate and began to look through the iron door. It must have seemed like forever, but they finally forced it open. They were shocked by what they saw inside. There was blood all over the place, on the walls and the roof. On the floor, Vera's body was lying dead and badly cut up. They found Vlad in the bathroom. He was drunk, lying on the floor with the bloody kitchen knife in his hand. It was almost 7 a.m. when one of the scared neighbors called the cops one last time, her voice shaking with sadness.
Алло, здравствуйте. 1,5 часа назад вызывали службу. До сих пор никто не приехал. Своими силами взломали дверь, девушка уже мертва. Наши действия. Что с девушкой? Девушка уже мертва. 1,5 часа вызывали службы. Без спасения. Девушка орала: "Помогите, спасите". Никто не помог и не спас. Что, почему у нас службы? Почему у нас службы так долго едут, и почему у нас службы никак не работают?
That's when the cops finally showed up to take her body away. Investigators from the police found 56 different cuts on Vera's body. Head injuries, deep cuts, and broken bones. It was an incredibly cruel crime. Vlad tried to get away, but his neighbors wouldn't let him. The whole
Man, dude. Now, Russia has to change their laws ASAP, man. Well, what the heck is this? Domestic violence is not a serious thing over there. It's a family matter. That's whack, man. For like 7 hours, and no one helped. Well, the people tried to help, but it was too late. And then the cop like, what happened to her? Like, bruh, they called you and told you what was going on, and no one came to help.
The country was furious as news of Vera's death spread. People were shocked when video of the emergency workers came out. Instead of rushing to help, these cops were just sipping tea, not even noticing the desperate calls for help. It looked like the neighbors swearing made them more angry than the fact that Vera was being abused for hours. Their reason? Mikhail Basov, the officer in charge, said he only had one patrol car left, so he sent it to check on an old man who had already died. This happened again after a shift change. The new cop, Dmitry Sarichev, got calls about Vera's situation, but he said there were no cars available and no gas. It turned out they had
No
fuel,
gas?
though. Maybe they didn't, but they didn't try to fix it either. What was the most upsetting
This is the
part?
most lamest
Vera
excuse
might
ever.
have been saved. When the case finally got to court, 3 emergency workers were charged with failing to do their jobs. They were found guilty,
Good.
but their terms were light. Just 1.5 to 2.5 years suspended. They all kept their
Suspended
jobs.
is
They were told to
crazy.
pay Vera's family only $369 each instead.
What the
That's
fuck?
it. They couldn't save Vera, and the system let her down again. The next day, when he was being questioned, Vlad tried to make up his own story. He said that on January 12th, he called Vera and offered to help her move the rest of her stuff to a new apartment. They agreed to meet in the afternoon on January 13th. Along with Vera's things, they packed his things too, because he didn't want to live there without her. After that, Vlad told them they had a nice night together and drank beer, liquor, and vodka
No.
until 5 a.m. without any problems. He said that things changed when he talked about their connection. He said Vera got mad when he suggested they get back together
Yeah, I'm not believing
and told her he
a
knew she
word
was
this
seeing
guy.
someone else.
Yes.
From his point of view, that's when she started
Right.
calling him names, hitting him, and kicking him in the groin several times. He said that the threats from her made him angry, which is what caused the fight. Vlad did offer to help Vera move, but it was never real. It was a trick. He had a lot of booze on hand because he probably thought that if they drank enough, the tension between them would go away. But things went completely out of control when it became clear that Vera had no plans to get back together with him. Vlad launched a horrific attack while drunk, angry, and full of jealousy. He tried to play down what he had done by saying that he had only hit Vera 4 times and that each time he had
Yeah.
only used the palm of his hand. He said she must have hit her
Yeah.
head on a cabinet when she fell. Then he said he had strangled her with an iron cord, but not to kill her, not to scream,
No.
but to make her pass out. I put the iron chain around Vera's neck. After that, I made the cord around her neck a little tighter. I put pressure on her neck for about 15 seconds. I didn't know at the time that what I did could kill Vera. I chose not to kill Vera. I wanted to scare Vera, so I pulled the cord tighter around her neck. I really wanted her to pass out. It was time for her to sleep for 15 minutes. He said that even after he took the line off, Vera was still making
Yeah.
noises, so he thought she was okay.
You get
But when he tried to
capping,
wake
bro.
her up later, she wasn't responding at all. He felt her pulse and found nothing. He finally knew what he had done after that. After that, he lost consciousness totally. The next thing I don't remember. I only remember that I went to the bathroom at some point. As the probe went on, Vlad slowly began to admit more and more horrible facts, but there was still no real regret in what he said. I don't remember how many times I hit her, but I think it was the same number the expert said. I admit that I hurt her in all the ways that were listed in the report. I wanted to be alone. I didn't think about how much pain she was in. During our fight, she yelled at me and called me names. I didn't like hitting her. I didn't like it when she screamed when I hit her. I told her to be quiet. In the meantime, people at the funeral home worked for hours to make Vera's face look nice, but no amount of work could fix what was done. Okesana, her mother, said Vera was totally unrecognizable. There were more than 1,000 people at her funeral in a small church. Most of them had to stand outside. The whole town was shocked by her cruel death. After that, Vlad was so bold as to say, "I'm sorry for what I did. Vera died because of what I did, but I never meant to kill her. Allow me to say sorry to her family." Okay, fine. The worst part is that Vlad's horrible actions were played down in court. Oksana, Vera's mother, said that the official charge sheet said that Vera was hit 4 times and choked 4 times. At the same time, forensic data showed that she had 56 different wounds. What about the 3.5 hours of beatings and shame? Not even a mention. Vera's family and people who worked to stop domestic abuse knew this was all a plot to get her a light sentence. Against domestic and sexual, Alyona Popova is a well-known activist. She even said that the Russian government cared more about protecting the killer and the cops than getting justice for Vera. In Russia, this way of thinking about domestic violence is already the rule, she said. Still, the government doesn't see domestic violence as a crime. Instead, it sees it as a centuries-old Russian family custom that it shouldn't get involved with. Because of this, the state does nothing and waits for the next body to be found. She had good reason to be scared. Vlad was given a 17-year sentence in a strict regime community and told to pay Vera's family $36,939 as reparations on July 28, 2022, as if that could ever make up for what he did. But that wasn't the end of the unfairness. Vlad was freed from prison in April 2023, only a few months into his term. His sentence was to serve time, but he was sent to fight in the Russian army on the front lines. He was free after only 6 months. Russia has been getting people out of jail to help with the war in Ukraine, and Vlad was one of those people. When a picture of Vlad showed up online, Vera's family learned the news. Okesana, her mom, was shocked and terrified. It's not fair that the man who tortured and killed her daughter was given a second shot, but Vera never did. It got even worse for Oksana. She was scared for her own safety. After everything Vlad did, what's stopping him from going after her or someone else? She stated, "He can at any moment kill any of us, the victims, out of revenge." Even though it hurts, Vera's family and human rights campaigners are still fighting for justice. Many folks were told by Alyona Popova to speak out. Don't keep quiet. Let out a loud scream. Those who kill will be able to walk down our streets as long as we don't say anything. When President Putin was criticized for his choice, he explained that these criminals were making up for their actions by fighting in the war and risking their lives in gunfire and blasts. That's the end of today's case, but the discussion doesn't have to stop here.
Alright guys, that was the end of it, guys. Yeah. That was just whack, bro. Russia has to change their laws ASAP. The guy was only let go after a couple months to fight in a war. Bro, come on. But there's a war going on. Like, come on. He should have got life or something. I thought, I don't know. I like true crime, but I like the bank robbers one, or something. Not this was just sad. Again, guys, just like our last video that we did about true crime, there's no happy endings. Guys, a picture of a dog will be posted right now for you guys to get over this. If not, guys, you just go hug your dogs. Go and hug your pets. Now, for 7 hours, right? That's what we said. 7 hours of a girl getting abused, screaming out 7 times to call the cops, and the cops didn't do nothing because no gas. Now that was the lamest excuse someone could ever make, bro. Like, speaking of dogs, there's one right here, right now. Okay, guys. That was sad, huh? Alright, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, then damn, I don't know. I didn't enjoy that. That was just a bunch of things, guys. Alright, if you guys enjoyed this, make sure you guys like, share, comment, and subscribe. May 1st, May 2nd or 1st, actually, who knows? One of those 2 days, we're going to go and watch season, guys. Alright, so we will make an announcement. Post it as a short and TikTok. Here, one for our TikTok is down in the description below. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.